I already faced my fears. My girl's gone. I said, my grandma and my mama dead. And he said, well, that's what we're going to rap about.
Motherless.
And I'm like, no, we not. I'm like, I ain't gonna rap about that. I never even said Denise was dead. I never said my mama, I say she transitioned, say she went on. I hadn't said any of that to nobody, not to my children, not to my woman, not to my community. And I got in the booth and I stepped in front of that microphone and the first thing I said is my mama's dead.
You had never said that before?
I never said that. My mama's dead. My grandmama's dead. To keep it honest, I get depressed and be feeling scared. Oh, man. I'd never been that transparent. I had to be strong for my children. I had to be strong for my family. And just, man, your mama died, you're not going to be strong.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Nima Bedell. I am a licensed clinical mental health counselor. I am licensed in Ohio and I'm licensed in Michigan, and I have been practicing in the mental health field for 15 years. This video is just really geared towards men. I really wanted to address men because there's a lot of issues that men deal with. I just wanted to have that professional lens, that real sound advice on how to really deal with real issues. And one of the real issues that we don't talk about is really dealing with our mothers, right? So there's two things I really want to address. One is bereavement, when you lose your mother, like the death of your mom. And another issue that's not really talked about too much is when men have to be the caregiver of their mother. And that can be a very challenging time, but at times as men, we function at such a high rate that we really don't know how taxing it is on us. And one of the reasons that it can be taxing just being a caregiver is that one is you're seeing your mother who was strong, who was your nurturer, but now the roles is really reversing and now you're nurturing her. You're taking her to hospitals, you're seeing that she may not be doing well the way that she needs to do, and at times you don't really have the answers or the finances as a whole, and you just don't really know what to really do at that point, right? So what I really want to do is just talk about practical steps towards healing and just self-care, right? Like I said, grief and bereavement is a very long topic, so there's no way in heck I can cover it all, but I just want to give just steps to point you in the right direction, right? So when we talk about healing and grief, when we talk about healing and bereavement, what that looks like is that, I'm just going to give you just a scenario, right? When you deal with healing, when you're talking with bereavement and grief, it's really about, man, reducing the frequency and intensity of the pain that you're having, right? So if you have the death of your mom, if you're at a level 10, hopefully in the next year or so, man, as long as you're addressing it, it can come down to like a 7, right? The goal is never to be a 0, but at least to reduce the intensity and pain and how much you're really feeling those emotions or thoughts that you may not really be able to deal with, right? So the first thing I really want to talk about that Killer Mike does a hell of a job addressing in his video, man, is the first step is really, man, being authentic. Being transparent with himself and honest, and he says that my mother is dead, and he's first time he really like recognized that loudly. So he went from a whole range of emotions, man. Even when you look at the lyrics of the song, feeling depressed. He talks about feeling angry, irritable, and just short with individuals. Then he talks about in the song at times, man, he just sits down and cries. Then he talks about other times in the song where he's just reminiscing and just thinking about the conversations that he really have with his mother. So it is a whole roller coaster of emotions that you have when you deal with grief or you deal with bereavement, man. And so the first thing that you really have to do is just sit back, pause. And one of the best ways that you can pause is there's a popular term when you do bereavement counseling. It's called grief appointments. And what grief appointment is a scheduled time that you take away to have time where you can just really focus on your bereavement, the death of your mother, or just the grief of just dealing with caretaking, right? And so what happens is you start off with about 2 to 5 minutes, and it's a very challenging exercise. I'll be honest with you, it's very hard. So 2 to 5 minutes seems short, but it can be very taxing. So this is what you need to do. One is you need to have a room by yourself. If you have anybody living or residing with you, you want to let them know, hey, I'm about to have an appointment so I can be able to kind of like manage my emotions here. And so please do not disturb me. If you have any animals, put the animals up. If you have any kids or anything like that, you might want to make sure the kids are out the house or they're in a different location of the house. Sometimes when you do cry, sometimes it may be a wailing, it may be loud, it may be that you're yelling or so. You're not trying to scare anybody, you're not trying to have anybody come and check up on you or anything like that. So you just make sure that you are in a secluded place by yourself. You move any objects or anything away from the room so that you don't break anything due to frustration or anger, right? And so during that time, what you're doing is you can do so many different factors, right? One is you can start talking about how you really feel. If you need to yell, you can yell. If you need to cry, you can cry. If you need to sit back and just write, you can write. And after those 2 to 5 minutes is over, man, you just pick yourself back up. If you got done crying or so, you wipe yourself off. And the reason why this is so important to have a grief appointment, it allows you just to be able to express yourself in a healthy environment, and so that you can have a space to really deal and figure out what's going on with you. If you found this information helpful, please like, subscribe, follow, and share with any man or any individual that can benefit from grief or bereavement. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know how to say goodbye, but goodbye, right? Or until next time. I've just never been good at hanging up with that phone, right? Actually, I don't think nobody's using phone, but until next time, I want to get it together. You're gonna see the evolvement, right? There's gonna be some growth on how I depart from this, but peace. Until next time, take care. Just take care, man. I'm better hanging up on the phone, man. Like, maybe that's what I just need to say. Like, I'm just bad at ending this, man.